we are going to focus on how to fill up the application form for the PMP examination. This is, a lot of people ask this question, that how we have to document experience and how we need to calculate the project hours. So we are going to answer all those questions in this webinar. And in case if you have any question, on the right side of your screen where you see the go to webinar tool pane, you can just write in your question in the chat window and I will answer all the questions. Okay. Let's start now here, and before we start, just a quick introduction of myself. I'm Nishant Shukla, as I told you, and I have close to 24 plus years of experience, in fact more than 24 years now, and I've been into this training for past more than 12 years, and I've trained a lot of people from across the industries, across the globe, at different countries on various topics here, and teaching is my passion, and I love, conducting these sessions and training on various topics like project management, program management, leadership, soft skills, and some other areas as well. Now I'm associated with Edureka, heading a certification business unit here. If you want to know more about myself, you want to connect with me, I am all over there on the social media. You can just, find me there, and I'll be glad to accept your request there. Moving on to our agenda, so I kept very short and crisp agenda for this webinar. The focus is on application and audit process, examination pattern, and how much time is needed to prepare for the PMP examination. I am not going to talk about the course curriculum or the scores of the PMP examination, but we will focus on the application process. So we'll start with introduction, a brief introduction of PMI and PMP, eligibility criteria, PMP application and audit process, and we also talk about examination pattern, and then we will have a discussion on how much time is needed to prepare for the PMP examination. We will try to demystify some of the myths about PMP examination, and we will have question and answers. In case if you want to know the basics of PMBOK, like PMP examination, like what is the difference in PMP and Prince2 and ACP, or what is the course structure, so you can go and find my other webinars, paths to PMP series webinar on Edureka blog page, or they are there on the YouTube as well. You will get your questions, basic questions answered there as well. And in case if still there are some questions which you want to get answered, you can drop in a mail to me, and I'll be glad to take those questions here. Starting with our agenda, first topic here is introduction to PMI. So PMI is a not-for-profit association. A project management institute is a not-for-profit association which was established in 1969, and since then it has been doing a lot in towards upliftment of the project management community and project management practices. PMI started collecting the best practices of the project management and put everything into a book called Project Management Body of Knowledge. Your entire PMP examination is based on that PMBOK guide. PMBOK guide, there is no single author of PMBOK guide, but it is a collection of knowledge and processes and best practices which are provided or which were collected from the professionals across the globe, from various industries, from various domains. Okay, PMBOK guide is not confined to any particular industry. Okay, and PMI conducts this examination, and PMI offers this certification on PMP, Project Management Professional, which is the most important and most sought after certification in the field of project management, and it is widely recognized across the globe, across countries, across industries. PMPs get a lot of respect there. It is not confined to any industry. A lot of people come with this concept, with this thought that, I come from healthcare, I come from pharma, I come from construction. Will PMP be helpful for me? Because I have seen most of the time only IT people doing it. No. Wherever you find an element of project management, PMP certification will have significance, importance, and value in that. It is globally recognized, and all the industries are looking for PMP professionals. Why? It's not that before PMI came into existence or before PMP certification came into existence, there were no projects or projects were getting delayed. There were projects. In fact, if you look back into the history, you will find lot of huge construction projects. You know, your Hoover Dam, your Suez Canal, all these big projects were done. At that time, there was no PMI, there was no PMBOK, there was no PMP. Then why PMP certification has now become so important? Because the complexity of the project has increased, the dynamics have increased, and PMP is have a PMBOK guide is helping bring all the best practices together and putting into a framework in a structured fashion. And when you start planning your project using that structured approach, it definitely becomes very helpful. So PMP certification, we talked about the PMP and what it is, and now let's understand what it takes to become PMP certified. So first of all, the prerequisite. So if you are a degree holder, if you are engineer, you have BTech or B degree or any other graduation degree, you need to have 4,500 hours of project management experience along with 35 hours of project management education. So when you go for this training, you must have heard of this PMP exam preparation training. PMP exam preparation training is for 4 days. At the end of this training, a completion of the training, you're going to receive 35 contact hours certificate, and that will fulfill one of the prerequisite of PM education. Second, an important point is you need to have 4,500 hours of project management experience. So the question comes how to calculate that 4,500 hours. I will come to the details here, but first of all, you need to understand this. There should not be a overlap in the among the project. So suppose you started working in January and you worked till September, and in between these 9 months you handled two projects. You were project manager, or maybe you were working on this project for on these two projects. Project A had a duration of 4 months and project B had a duration of 6 months, and there was an overlapping duration of 2 months. Okay, so it does not mean that you can just add up this hours here. You'd have add up the months that I worked on A for 4 months and on B for 6 months, so the total project management experience will be of 10 months. No, you cannot show overlapping experience in the application form. The maximum experience you can show or document here is for 9 months only. Okay, this slides, the next slide clarify it in a better way. Here you can see you may have worked on multiple projects, so you need to you need to document the experience for each and every project, individual project, separately. Okay, and you have to ensure that there is no overlap in the duration. So you cannot say that I worked on project A from January 2015 till September 2015, and I worked on project B from July 2015 till December 2015. So the overlapping duration is from July to September. So on an average, if I assume that you have 8 hours every day and you work for 20 days in a month, so that means 160 hours. So the total available uh, hours to you in 2 months time will be 320. And if you show your experience for that duration as 350 or 400 or 450 hours, then PMI is going to raise an objection on that. They may ask you to give you the details, and then they can reject it because they say non-overlapping projects. Okay, and your designation during this project does not makes any difference. You need not to be in the role playing a project manager's role there. You may be the junior most person in the project team, but if you did an activity which was contributed towards a project, that will be considered as your project management experience. Important point is that you should not say that I did two projects, or maybe I did one project, but I was working almost 12 hours or 15 hours a day. I was working on Saturdays and Sundays, and I was able to get all these 4,500 hours in just 2 years time. No, that experience must come from minimum 3 years time. So if you do not have 3 years of experience, if your experience is of 2.5 years, total work experience of 2.5 years, then you are not eligible for PMP examination. Okay. And another important point is you must avoid adding projects that you did 8 years back, or maybe let's say 2015. And if you worked on a project sometime in 2011 and 2004 or 2005, and you want to document the experience of that project, then PMI may reject that application. Okay. So you must consider the projects that you have worked upon in past 8 years only. And while I move to the next slide, okay, this slide talks about your application process. This slide is giving you a complete overview, a very high level overview of the application process. So the first step, the moment you decide to go for PMP examination and you have to submit the application and you have completed your training, then the first step is go to this following link which is there in the slide, certification.pmi.org, or you can simply log into www.pmi.org, go for certification, look for the certification menu, and once you go to the certification page, you can look for apply for PMP credentials in the PMP section. So once you start on that, it will initiate the entire application process. They are going to ask a lot of details, a lot of personal details, your educational details, your address and all these details. You fill up all the requisite requirement, all the project experience as well, and then you will complete and submit the online application. After you have submitted your application, PMI is going to check that application for the correctness and fulfillment. And PMI will take maximum 5 days in that. Within 5 days, okay, there is a question from Swati. Swati is asking how much time the application process will take. Swati, I'm just coming to that. We are just going to complete this now. Within maximum 5 days, PMI will respond to you saying your application has been verified and accepted and you need to go and make the payment. In case if there was something missing or PMI had some doubt about that information that you put in the application process form, they will notify you and ask for the detail. Once it is verified, then you will be prompted to make a payment. You need to submit the fee. We are going to come on the fee section also, what is the fee for that. And once you submit the fee, the moment you submit the fee, then PMI is going to pick up 20% of the applications on random basis for audit. No one has any clear information that what criteria they use. It is purely on a random basis. The moment you make the payment, you will get to know immediately if your application is picked up for audit or not. If your application is picked up for audit, then you will receive this information notification from PMI. They will make you aware of the entire process, that what are the things that you need to do to clear that audit process, and you will be given 90 days time to complete all the audit requirement. I'll come to the audit process in a while from now. So once you submit, you gather all the information, and once you have you have fulfilled the process, you need to submit that details to PMI, and then PMI is going to review all the document that you submitted for audit. And once they verify that, once it is fulfilling all the requirement, you will receive a notification from PMI that your application is accepted and you can go and book your examination at a Prometric center. From that day, the day you receive that notification from PMI, you will have 1 year to complete or to take the PMP examination. And within that 1 year's time, you can have 3 attempts here. In case if your application was not picked up for audit, then you will straight away, after your payment is accepted, you are straight away going to get an email from PMI saying that your application is accepted, your payment is accepted. Now go ahead and book the examination and start preparing for that. And then you schedule your examination at a nearby Prometric center, and then you clear that, and once you become a PMP certified PMP, certified project management professional, then you need to maintain that credential maintenance. So I'll come to the micro level details of that, but here the objective of this slide was to tell you what is the overall high level end-to-end process of PMP application. So there is a question from Ripandeep Kaur. What if I have setbacks in jobs, say a year ago, a year gap of working twice? Ripin, that is not at all an issue. If you had an see on an average, you will get approximately 1800 to 2000 hours of experience, assuming that you work 5 days a week, 8 to 9 hours a day, and considering all the non-working days. This is a there is no guidance here, but this is a very basic and general assumption. So even if you had some gaps, let's say you started working in 2005, you worked till 2007, and then there was a gap of 2 years, you resume your working in 2009, you worked in 9 and 10, again there was a gap of 1 year, you resume your working in 2012, you work for 13, 14, 15, and again you are on break. PMI is not concerned with that. All they want to know that in past 8 years, how many projects you worked on, or how many projects you had to work on to get this 4,500 hours of experience. If there was a gap in job, absolutely no problem. Okay, that is not the concern at all. So I hope I clarified your doubt here. Please let me know if you have any further doubt here. And uh, moving on to the next level of detail here is this is your application verification section. So I will, when you go to PMI website and you start filling up the application form, it will guide you through the entire steps here. I will not take you through the entire process, but I will highlight a couple of sections here which are very important here. So I told you that you need to document your 4,500 hours of experience, no matter how many projects you worked on during that duration, but you need to document each and every project. And when you mention that you worked on a project A, project B, any project, you also need to provide contact detail of a person. That person could have been a project sponsor, director, your client, your manager, or any primary stakeholder. Any person who can certify that yes, this person worked on project A from this duration to this duration, or whatever information has been entered into the application form is correct and true to the nature. I certify that. So the process for this is, in case if your application is picked up for audit, then PMI will send you the list of the detailed process, and you will also be provided a form which you need to forward to the person whose detail you have given this contact relationship and contact for this particular project. So you need to talk to those people, you need to provide the forward those form to them, and those people will take a printout of that form, fill up the form manually, put it into an envelope, and they will send it to you. Soft copy of the form will not be accepted. It has to be a hard copy. Okay, so they will send it to you through mail, through courier, in a sealed envelope, and you are not allowed to open that envelope. You need to forward that envelope as it is to PMI. Okay, you should not open that. Forward it to PMI. PMI will check that, and then if they have any further question or any doubt, they will get back to you. Otherwise, in most of the cases, it gets accepted like this. You will get 90 days time here to do this process. Now, important point to understand here is, when you start filling up the examination form, PMP application form, you have to, before you submit this application, you identify the person whose name you are going to give in this contact relationship field. And before you submit the application, contact them and talk to them and tell them that you are applying for the PMP examination. And in case your application is picked up for audit, then PMI may contact them directly, or they may have to fill up a form and send it to you. Once they say, okay, I will do that, then only you take it to the next level, then only you give the reference, else you find someone else. Couple of time I have seen people come back to me asking this question, hey, I gave a name of my project manager with whom I worked in 2009 and 10, but he is no longer in touch. I gave the number there, I gave his email address, but he is no longer working in that organization, he has moved somewhere else. Now what shall I do? So that will be a very tedious process, that will be a tricky situation. And in case if your application is rejected, you will have to pay $100 towards the administration charges to PMI. PMI is going to deduct $100 from whatever amount you paid, and they are going to refund the rest. So make sure you talk to those people whose name you have given before you submit the PMP application. Okay. And another important part of your PMP application is your add project hours. This is the most confusing part. This is the most challenging part, where people come and ask that, how to calculate my project hours. How can I say that, I work for so many hours? So on the right side, what you see here, the blank space that you see here, you need to give a description of what all activities you did for each and every project that you have mentioned in the application form. And then on the left side, where you see the blocks, you need to write down how many hours you spent working on these activities. I will show you a sample, an Excel sheet here, which will be quite helpful for you to understand that. So initiating process, if you worked on any of this activity, which is here in the column A, if you worked on any of this activity, so you need to write down, let's say, perform project assessment to check the feasibility of new product or services. Let's say you were a part of that pre-consultant team who were doing this market research, or who were just doing the feasibility, and you worked for 50 hours here. Just write down 50 hours. You did your key stakeholder analysis to identify who are the key stakeholders, and you worked with your management team to gain their support and approval on this project, and you spent 25 hours on that. Next could be your, you worked with the customer to define the very high level scope of the project, and you spend almost 100 hours in that. So you can see here, as you are adding the hours towards the activities that you perform for this project, your number of hours here are adding up. So you have to ensure that this total here becomes 4,500 hours. This total, what you see here is 170 hours here. This should be 4,500 hours. So this Excel sheet is very useful, and I can share this Excel sheet with you. You can go to Edureka website and you can find it there. In case if you're not able to locate it, you can get in touch with us, and we'll be glad to assist you with that. So you need to fill up this application form, you need to fill in all the details, and this section what you see on your screen right now, this is for each individual project that you have added in your application form. So make sure the total hours of the project, overall project, will come to 4,500 hours, and then you are ready to move to the next level. After you complete these two important things, and when you submit that, and then PMI is going to take maximum up to 5 days to tell you whether your application is verified and checked for completeness or not. And once they do this, then you will be asked to make the payment. So coming to the payment here, there is always a confusion here on the payment part. Some people think that it is $555. Some people say it is $405. Yes, both are right, but that depends on the membership status. Lot of people have this option of getting this reimbursed from their company, but their respective companies may say that, we will not reimburse your PMI membership fee, we will reimburse only the PMP examination fee. In that case, I've seen a lot of people straight away go for PMP examination fee. So if you take PMI membership before you apply for the examination, then you need to pay $405 as a PMP examination fee. Okay. If you are not a PMI member, and if you have not taken a PMI membership earlier, and you straight away want to go and pay just examination fee without becoming a member, then it is going to be $555. Okay. The difference is of $11 only, but being a member of PMI has its own advantage and benefits. You get access to a lot of free resources, you get access to a lot of forums, and you can connect with the people, you can network with the people. So, and That's quite useful. Okay. And another benefit, I should not call it as a benefit here, but if any person unfortunately failed to clear the PMP examination in the first attempt, then within that 1 year's time, that person can go for a reattempt, second attempt. And in case, depending on his membership status, that person may have to pay the fee, either $275 or $375. Okay, so suppose a person had taken the PMI membership and then that person applied for the examination. Unfortunately, that person failed to clear it in first attempt. Then the re-examination fee for that person will be $275, and for non-members it will be $375. Duration of this membership is only for 1 year. So you need to renew it at end of first year and end of every year, and the membership fee is $139. Along with the membership, you can also take your PMI local chapter membership. That is optional, that is completely on your discretion, and the fee for that may vary from $5 to $15. And only 3 PMP examination attempts are allowed in 1 year time. If you reschedule the examination within the 30 days of the exam date, then you will have to pay $70 as a re-examination fee. Suppose today is 21st July, you submitted your application on 1st of August. You completed all the formalities and everything went smooth. On 6th of August, you received an email from PMI saying that your application and payment has been accepted. You can go ahead and block the examination. So from that day, 6th August 2015, you will have time till 5th August 2016 to clear the PMP examination. And during that time, you will get only 3 attempts. So if any person fails to clear it in first attempt, then that person can rebook the examination after a gap of 30 days. So suppose you block on 6th of August, you book the examination date for 15th of September, and any person went for examination and that person failed, then that person can reappear for the examination after 15th October. Okay, there has to be a gap of 30 days, minimum 30 days between two attempts. And rescheduling within 48 hours of the examination is not allowed. You cannot do that. In case if you fail to appear for the examination, it will be considered as a no-show. No-show means one attempt gone. Okay. So I hope this is clear to everyone.